Hello, everyone, whoever everyone is, on this J random stream I've decided to put on for no particular reason other than I was bored and I have a relatively empty day ahead of me. I got all of my job work done early on today because things aligned to allow me to do so, and so consequently I took some vacation time to effectively take a half day. And here I am. Rock me like a hurricane. Texas Attorney General, Okie native, good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are. Yeah. Why? Why am I doing this? Well, first and foremost, because of my half day. I may be slightly inebriated, just because, I'm an American, dang it, and I can do that once in a while. But also to, I guess, stealth announce a thing, partially. So in the description, you will find a link, a time-locked link to a Discord server specifically for my channel. Yes, I have given in to the overriding peer pressure of Dave's Lemonade and created a, let's say, a trial balloon of a Discord server. The link in the description will only be good for, I think, 12 hours or thereabouts. So hopefully that means that only the most hardcore members of my audience, at least for this stream, may click on it. So here's the procedure, because I'm keeping it invite only insofar as you don't get access to much unless I've approved you, I suppose. I either need to recognize the nickname that you announce yourself with, like somebody from the audience that I know or recognize. But obviously there's possibly people out there who I won't recognize or who have been lurkers for a while or who are just brand new. And so in order to at least signal to me that you're somebody who pays attention to my show and my streams, for this instance, there will be a password. Yes, the public channel, the say hello channel on there. If you want to get access to all the other stuff to talk about, you need to give me the password of, let's see, what's a good password? Omega 12. I will say Omega 12 is the first password to, I mean, if I recognize the nickname you give me, right, as somebody from the audience, then that's probably a good indicator that you're somebody that I want to let in. But if you're a lurker, or if you're not sure if I'd recognize you or otherwise, or just for the fun of it, just put Omega 12 into the say hello channel, and I may grant you access to the other channels. The only channels that exist are one for TED Excellence, one for the Sunday stream, and one for Living on Borrowed Crime, as well as a public voice channel. Now, just to let you know, and I'm going to re-announce this all on the TED Excellence show tomorrow on Thursday. This is all an experiment. I could delete this server at any time if I find that it's too much of a drama fest, or if some kind of more problems occur or something. I've got a few people tagged as moderators. I'm hoping they don't have to do a heck of a lot, because you guys classically, at least in the chat, have never been of any problems at all. And I'm keeping it a private server, more or less. Like, this isn't a community thing open to everybody and their brother. I'll put a link out once in a while for people who want to join. Yeah, I like I say, just giving in to Dave's Lemonade because I like Dave. And I've avoided doing too much social media in regards to this channel for, 7 years now. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. You guys let me know what you think as we proceed. And I will approve people that come in. There's only 2 tiers of access. There's the moderators who moderate, and then there will be the lunarians, for lack of a better phrase. And that's it. I'm not going to add any more hierarchy to it unless I absolutely have to. I'm not going to make it any more complicated than I absolutely have to. I'm not going to add any niche channels to it, like, somebody says, I want a cooking channel or a place where I can discuss my knitting or something. It's a Discord server specifically for my channel and my series and my shows. I'm not necessarily closed off to ideas or suggestions, but generally speaking, it's going to be very niche specifically to my channel. I'm not going to try to be all things to all people, etc. So anyway, for those of you joining late, there's a link in the description to a experimental Discord server for my channel. The password to get further access and be granted a role that accesses the other channels on that server is Omega 12. What is Omega 12? Just as a reference. Well, my friend Christopher Moonlight on YouTube, he has an ongoing project now turned into an animated independent feature for a sci-fi sort of throwback Barbarella space adventure called Escape from Planet Omega 12. And just today, he got the headline top story entry into the website, The Movie Elite. And so I thought I'd go over the article pertaining to Omega 12, just in case anybody's interested. And if I didn't completely forget to do so, and I hope I didn't, I put a link to the article in the description. Let me check that real quick, because I am quite inebriated. Let's see. Original. Oh, I didn't, did I? I thought I had, but I didn't. So let me rectify that real quick, because I want to be able to give Christopher his due here. There we go. Okay, so for those of you watching now, on the off chance you want to refresh your screen, or you can refresh it in the future, the description should have the link to this article. But before I get into that, let me at least acknowledge whoever is joining me. Oh my gosh. Noah Asensio, Texas Attorney General, Secret Agent, Okie Native, Mike Savage, TC, Robert Pincus, Shadowclaw. Who else is here? Vanessa One. Scrappy Pirate, Keldrig, Ostzan, Plague Doctor Zach, Shady Grin, Jaeger Pony, Dr. Functional. Who else is here? Is that Cannibalistic Wizard, K. Scholl? Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever you like here. Dr. Functional says, I do like Discord for the spirit of what I want in SOCMED? Social medication. I don't know. I choose what I want to follow, see, and people I want to speak to. Yeah, like I say, I mentioned this previously on the Living on Borrowed Crime stream with Dave's Lemonade. I'm a little wary of getting too entrenched into any more social media than I absolutely have to, both personally and for my channel, because to this point, my channel has been a glorified hobby. And I've tried not to make it any larger a part of my, existence than I feel comfortable with. But I'm willing to, allow for the possibility that those of you that follow my channel or like my content or populate my audience might want to have another place to discuss the topics at hand or the episodes that I put out or the TED Excellences and so on. So, again, as an experiment. Links in the description. The link is only good for the next 12 hours or now less. But so I'll review that after I'm done with this stream. And so for those of you that might be chatting on the Say Hello channel on the Discord, I will attempt to get you all access to the other channels once I'm done here. But let's go over this article about the project from my friend Christopher Moonlight. Escape from Planet Omega 12, bringing animated adventure back to retro sci-fi. Escape from Planet Omega 12, a new animated sci-fi series from Christopher Moonlight Cooksey and Doug Mayfield. Producers Christopher Moonlight Cooksey, The Quantum Terror, Ray Bradbury Live Forever, and Doug Mayfield, The Quantum Terror, The Warning, are proud to announce the production of their new animated sci-fi series Escape from Planet Omega-12, inspired by vintage science fiction and adult-oriented animation such as Fire and Ice, Heavy Metal, and Love, Death, and Robots. Omega-12 is looking to bring back the raw and sexy energy that used to come with pulp science fiction in a style that Cooksey calls sci-exploitation. It tells the story of Terra, the beautiful lone survivor of a doomed space expedition marooned on a savage alien planet, along with her little robot assistant and a strange alien blob that has absorbed the consciousness of her murdered husband. Hunted by an unseen enemy who means to kill her, she must learn to survive in her new environment while evading ravenous monsters and deadly robots, all while uncovering the deeper mysteries of the planet she seeks to escape. Now, this is a little bit of an inside baseball. Christopher Moonlight, or Christopher Cooksey, has graciously, in the last few months, provided me draft scripts of what was originally meant to be I think a movie of a kind, but then turned into an animated feature for Omega-12. And it looks really interesting. And I'm really excited to see what he ends up doing with it. Thank you, Derek LaRue, again, for your consistent support. I really do appreciate it. And so Derek, in case you're just joining us, if you'll check the description, there's a link to a Discord I've set up for the channel. First Discord I've ever set up for the channel. I don't know if you use Discord, but if you do, be sure to drop a note in there, and I'll be sure to give you access to everything. And thank you again. I want to say something real quick, and Derek LaRue has reminded me of this. I spoke before the broadcast of the last Living on Borrowed Crime. I talked to Dave's Lemonade about donations, super chats, and so on. And I was very glad to find a kindred spirit in Dave in this philosophy of mine. And I told him about how I think, and just go with me with this for a second, I think I was raised with a different generation's perspective. So just as a little bit of backstory, my parents got married in 1969. And through trials and tribulations, they did not have children until 1979. There was a couple of miscarriages and difficulties. But then I showed up, and then my sister shortly thereafter showed up. And so consequently, the generation in which I was a peerage to, generally speaking, was about 10 years, like, let's say, ahead insofar as attitudes about life, the world, and otherwise, than I would have been if my parents had had my sister and I around the, sort of classical time married couple would start having children within the first year or so. And so as a consequence of that, I thought about this over time. My sister and I were raised with a sensibility from effectively a generation prior to my peers. And this may or may not bleed into what I'm about to say, but I feel as though both my sister and I were raised with a sensibility that was much more, classic Americana than maybe some of the people who were born around the same time I was from their own parents, in the sense of having an appreciation for a dollar. Just to focus on this subject for a second. I don't take any donation from anyone lightly, whether it's $2 or $20 or whatever. I see each dollar as a reflection of someone's honest, earned labor. And the fact that anyone would bequeath to me a reflection of their own labor for what I do on this channel at any point in time, I'm very humbled by that. I very much respect what goes into each dollar and what that represents of someone's life and their time, their talent, and their labor. So if I haven't said it before, and I'm pretty sure I have, but just on the off chance, that is something I I honestly never know exactly what to say in thanks to someone for donating anything to my channel. Like I say, whether it's a buck, $10 or more, it just bowls me over every time. And I just want to let you guys know, I don't take it lightly. I don't see it as a given. I don't feel entitled to it in any way, shape, or form. And, as I've tried to do on many occasions, I've tried to pay that forward when your guys' generosity just exceeds my sense of, I don't know, my sense of propriety, I suppose. Holy cats. And in that vein, thank you, Keeverdam, so much. Hi, Keeverdam. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's ridiculously generous. I really appreciate that. As I think I've just spelled out. Once again, I'm humbled and flattered. I appreciate that very much. Keeverdam is also one of the earliest members of my new Discord. So you'll get to hopefully interact with her over on there if you decide to join up. Anyway, I'll get away from being too maudlin about things and move on to the rest of the article. Watch the promo video. Yes, if you go to the link in the description, which should be there now if you refresh your screen if you've been here a while, there's a promo video about this project. Quote, "This is really exciting for us," says Cooksey. Quote, "Rather than just being drawn or computer generated, we're using all of this new open source and AI technology that indie filmmakers just couldn't get their hands on without the backing of a major studio just a few years ago. The playing field is now leveled, and we wanted to really make something that Hollywood wouldn't take a chance on, blending miniature sets and puppets shot in camera, traditional hand-drawn animation, but also using the latest in AI-driven motion capture, like what the programmers at Rococo are offering, along with the VTube technology and open source 3D to create a wholly original look. We're taking cues from the best of both Western and Eastern animation." I think he meant Eastern, but it's spelled Easter. My English major clicks in a little bit, but there you go. "Animation, but no one has seen anything like what we've been planning before," unquote. The two producers, who also used miniatures and animation combined with live actions to make their first movie, The Quantum Terror, which I have watched. I've watched The Quantum Terror, and I really appreciate it for its ambition. When you're working on a small budget and you're trying to get across imagery and concepts that are maybe from any outside perspective beyond your ability, and you're using practical effects and what you have at hand to produce a story and further a narrative, I was very impressed with it. I looked at some of that stuff and I was very impressed. And granted, I'm not any kind of movie expert or anything, but I've watched a lot of movies in my day. And I thought, all things considered, it was a very interesting, very ambitious, and very technically skilled production. So if you haven't seen The Quantum Terror, you can find it on Tubi, Tubi, which is a movie site, content site with ads. There are ads, but that's all part of the process. Let's check it out if you haven't already. First movie, The Quantum Terror, are now excited to bring this unique vision to life and offer audiences an engaging, visually stunning, and thought-provoking experience with Escape from Planet Omega 12. Stay tuned and be the first to get exclusive behind-the-scenes looks at the first season, upcoming stellar cast announcements, as well as info on possible NFTs, comic books, and future game dev by joining us at, and there's the subscribe star link to support the project. I know a little bit of inside baseball about what's going on with the production. I can't mention it publicly because I just can't. But if the stars align, such as it were, it's going to be even if the stars don't align in certain aspects, it's a very exciting project because I don't know if you guys have heard of the Iron Age movement, more or less. It's this name given to it, I think, primarily from Razor Fist on YouTube, but several others. There is a movement online and elsewise that is being called the Iron Age of sort of content, media, entertainment, that at least in intent tries to harken back to the pre-woke Hollywood aesthetic of storytelling, comic books, movies, independent productions, and so on. It tries to get away from trying to push a message through the material and just tries to tell an entertaining story. Tries to go back to actually producing escapism rather than being lectured to about modern inconveniences or outrages. There was an article from, I think it was Variety. No, it was the Hollywood Reporter. Maybe it was the Hollywood Reporter today that put out on Twitter about the upcoming Indiana Jones sequel, The Dial of Destiny. And let me find the quote real quick on my Twitter just so I can make sure I quote this correctly. I don't want to be off base. The director of Indiana Jones, James Mangold, said in part, quote, "We can't hide from where we are in our lives, and neither can Indiana Jones," director James Mangold says. And my rejoinder to that statement was, sure you can, James Mangold. It's called escapism, right? Why would I want to watch a movie, an adventure movie, an action movie, whatever, that is going to be so rooted in current day nonsense drama when I could watch something that actually just sort of tells a story outside of time, outside of current events, so I can sort of get past the nonsense of the world, the horror of the world, the depressing parts of the world, and actually just be sent away to some other place for a couple hours. Oh, no, we can't have that. No. Current media has to continually bludgeon us with messaging and philosophy and ideology and remind you where your place is in society and denigrate some and elevate others and so on and so forth. Don't you get sick of that? Don't you just want to have fun once in a while? Just plain unadulterated fun and escapism. Does everything have to be a lecture? Does everything have to be a commentary on the modern day, on the current strife, and so on and so forth? Can't you have, not to say you can't have a narrative story that says something about human nature, right? A timeless commentary on just human nature or generalized conflicts that afflict us time after time across history. Sure, that's fine. But do I need another series or another movie or another whatever telling me Trump bad, Ukraine good, etc., and so forth? Also, did you know that slavery is bad and racism is bad? On and on. Like, jeez. Give me a break. By the way, strong female characters, etc., and so forth, by the way, on and on. Oy caramba, as a friend of mine might or might not say. Texas Attorney General Secret Agent, doing well here, just trying to stay warm during our snowstorm here in Denver. Well, yeah, stay warm. It's pretty cold where I am right now. It was like high 20s or something this morning. It's better now, but man, that was a bit chilly willy this morning. Super Koopa Gaming, I'm somewhat contributing to the Iron Age in my own way, making my own amateur comic strips. Nothing fancy, but just something fun. There you go. I have every desire to try to make something for fun, not glom myself onto any particular political ideology. In just the last, I want to say 36 hours or so, I had a conversation with somebody about the political nature of my channel. And I've noticed over the years, and this is not a complaint, just for preamble, this is not a complaint or anything. I've noticed that I don't think I'd be off base in saying that a lot of my audience, and you guys can feel free to contradict me, and I'd be happy if you do so, fall within what might be considered today the conservative territory of political thinking. Maybe. I don't know. I'm guessing a little bit. And it boggles my mind that anything that I think falls so specifically into conservative territory. I remember, I guess it was a couple of years ago now, but it doesn't feel that long ago, that within the same 24-hour period, I was criticized on Twitter specifically around the same broadcast that I was both, from one perspective, a Trump derangement syndrome sufferer, and on the other side, a neocon. This all happened within the same day. Two different people listening to effectively the same content determined that I was either the most extreme on one side of the aisle or the most extreme on the other side of the aisle. I don't feel that I'm conservative in any particular way or right-wing by any measure. My thoughts on the most controversial subjects, as far as I can tell, haven't changed all that much over the last, say, 15 years. And yet somehow the line has been pulled so far to the left that anything that isn't the most extreme is now conservative or something. You know, if I could display my voting record, I'd probably tick off a whole bunch of people in my audience, because generally speaking, up until the last 5 or 6 years or so, not by reflex, but just sort of by my own attitude, I voted liberal, let's say, in most instances. But I never locked myself in to being on one side or the other. Like when the voting pamphlet comes across, right? And I've said this before on Lords of the Night and elsewise. When it comes to any position, publicly or federally or otherwise, I will read the individual's public statement. And specifically, I'm looking for grammar errors. My English major reflexes kick in, because I'm thinking to myself, every time I look at someone who's campaigning for a position in legislation or otherwise, if they want to be the ones writing the laws, it doesn't matter to me on what side of the aisle they are, first and foremost. I'll look at what they're saying secondarily to what does their public statement look like structurally. You know, this is what you're putting out there for most people. Most people don't know a lick about someone campaigning for some mid-level state position or state senatorial position or whatever. And so the only communication they really end up having is this public statement they put in the voting pamphlet. And I will read those things in detail, specifically on the idea of, if this person wants to be someone who is writing or interpreting legislation or the law, if they're a judge or something, for the sake of this next term, and they want my vote, well, I need to see how much care they give to their own public statement. Is there good grammar? Is there good spelling? Does it make sense? Just as a statement, let alone the content. The content is actually a secondary consideration to me, or it might be it might tie, so to speak, with the actual presentation of it, right? But yeah, if you're not paying attention to the final draft of the public statement you're making as a potential candidate or even an incumbent candidate for a position, I have some questions. I have some doubts that you're somebody I want in charge of writing legislation or being in charge of interpreting the law. If you're not even willing to take the time to put out a statement that is at least coherent and revised and checked before you tell the public who you are or what you're for. But where was I going with that? Oh, Pepperjack, you're my only friend. Yeah, I'm a little bit loopy right now. Wherever I was going with that, take it as you will. Supercoop again. Oh wait, sorry. Apologies. My chat jumped, but my chat did not continue. So let's see. Oh, irate Alex. Irate Alex. There is a U in color. Not my fault. Your printing presses were skint. Okay. As an American, my forefathers, my ancestors fought to get away from your silly spelling rules. Taking the U out of color allows us to put it into the us of US. Silliness. For those of you that don't know, Irate Alex, formerly Irate Bear, even though I know he wants to get away from that, is the reason, the most compelling reason in origin that I can cite for why I'm even doing this, why I'm even here. If it wasn't for him, I probably never would have tried YouTube. He is both the base inspiration for my having attempted this, and I'm proud to consider him one of my longest time friends on here. And so if you do not know about Irate Alex, search him on YouTube, check out his channel, subscribe to his stuff. He is one of the old guard in our little YouTube social club, and someone I have great respect for. And I'm very, very glad and privileged, if I can use that word these days, to call my friend. So, yeah, if you don't know about Irate Alex, go check him out. I think you might, if you like my stuff, I'm pretty sure you might like his stuff. It's just a guess, just a guess. Who else is on here? Who else is saying stuff? Fatoni42, Bear is awesome. Yes, he is. He is indeed. And, you know, for those of you that have been listening to my channel for a while that may not know the reference or the context, every time I legitimately or otherwise mutter the word or say the word substantive, I always, under my breath, say Irate Bear, because as far as I'm concerned, I cannot any longer use that word without giving deference and I don't know, in memoriam. I don't know what to say about that to Irate Bear. If not Irate Alex himself, because that is an inside joke. You'll just have to ask him about that if you really want to know. Pie Guy 07, hi Scribe, hi Pie Guy. See, I know I'm being relatively nostalgic at this point because I've got more than a couple of Pepperjacks in me for my day off from work, or my half day off from work. It's so flattering. I don't know a better word for it, to come across people's nicknames on here and recognize them as people who have been around for my channel and my streams and my videos for years. I don't know what to say about that. When I started this thing, I said to myself, if I get 10 regular followers or subscribers, I'll be impressed. And then once the amount of subscribers on my channel exceeded the number of people that made up my graduating high school class, I was like, you got to be kidding me. It's all about proportionality. I feel very happy for people that end up with 30,000 or 100,000 subscribers, so they get that silver play button or whatever. But as far as I'm concerned, anybody who takes the time or thinks that it's worthwhile to subscribe to my channel, to comment, even people that maybe aren't subscribers, but they just come across my videos because of the subject line or something, and they leave a maybe even nasty comment, right? Or a critical comment or something else. The odds that anybody would even pay attention to what I have to say, even in opposition, is flattering. And I don't take those things lightly. When somebody shows up and drops a comment on a video or a stream or something that is critical, or maybe even insulting, I I do my best to take it in stride, and really, take whatever they have to say, whatever their criticism is, seriously, and not just blow it off. And sometimes I'm thankful that it has been a relatively rare event, but those times that I have been rightfully corrected, dressed down, or criticized, I'll own up to it. I do my best. It's not fun to eat crow. Anybody who's lived any length of life knows that it is not fun to have to climb back down from a position you held when someone comes along and puts in front of you evidence or information that wholly contradicts where you stood. It really is the sign of a mature individual when you have to climb down from a position that you held when you've been given something that tells you otherwise. And I don't enjoy it. It's not an enjoyable experience, but when it happens, I do my best to eat crow and move on with my life. And, if needs be, correct myself for the future, and sometimes that happens. And I even appreciate those individuals that put comments up that, try to bring me down a peg or otherwise, whether they end up being, in my view or otherwise, correct or not. I still appreciate it. That is the price, such as it is, for living in both a free society and presumably a free speech society. Lesser Logic, thank you so much. I just wanted to say thanks for all the years that you invested in this content. I'm finally in a place where I can comfortably contribute back. Thank you. I like I said before, I don't know how much I can say thank you for that. I really appreciate that. I'm flattered beyond words that you'd express that with your labor, with your own money. I thank you, and I hope that whatever I'm doing, have done, or will do in the future lives up to your generosity. Thank you for that. Seftus Wolf, how you are rich. Rich? I mean, I wish. Day at a time, paycheck by paycheck. In the last several years, watching first and foremost my grandmother, who it's a complicated relationship I had with my grandmother because while she and my grandfather, who passed away back in was it 97 or something, when I was growing up, were always sort of like role models for me. My grandfather, he fought in World War II, flew planes in World War II. He went on to join NASA, and in some way, shape, or form, which to this day is still classified, he worked on Apollo 11. My grandmother, who survived the Dust Bowl and the Great Depression and everything, complicated relationship with my grandmother, who lived far longer than my grandfather. She treated my mother terribly. When it came time for my grandmother to be taken care of as an elderly individual, the only one who'd step up was my mother. And my grandmother treated her terribly, even before her mind started going because of senility and God knows what else. But my mother persevered. And, she was able to, with her savings and her investment and my grandfather's foresight prior to his passing away, she was able to afford a retirement situation. But rich, I don't know. My family's always had a very conservative outlook when it comes to money and wealth and things, and we're not wealthy. It's not for lack of trying. There's been a lot of circumstances that befall my family throughout the generations that they had no control over, whether it's the Great Depression or stock market crashes or just whatever. But I'm very proud of my family and the overall that, we've been able to maintain. And my parents, I found out things later about my family and my parents that they, hardships that they kept from my sister and I that we didn't have to deal with, stressors that we didn't have to be exposed to. But on several occasions, we came very close as a family, unbeknownst to me at the time, to literally being out on the street, but by hook, crook, and just perseverance. Because of my parents, specifically my father, they kept us from that eventuality. And so, like I said earlier on in the stream, maybe I have an old-fashioned sense of what it means to have a buck come your way. But yeah, no, by any estimate, I'm not rich, but I'm okay. Angelverse, sorry for that little tangent. Thank you for the happy, lovely Dogcat Fox. Oh, Dogcat Fox.
Wowee, wow.
Oh, Dogcat Fox. An irate Alex Dogcat Fox, for those of you that don't know. Seftus Wolf as well. Thank you so much for the laughing, giggling Dogcat Fox. Oh, Dogcat Fox.
Wow.
Every time I play that, it just tries. It cracks me up. That's Tailed Feature. He sent me two. When I solicited my YouTube friends for Dogcat Fox clips, Tailed Feature sent me two. He sent me a quote-unquote serious one, and then in the same audio file, that one, I couldn't help but put two up there because, man, that... Oh, that just drives me nuts in a good way. That just makes me just crack up every time. By the way, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention if he's not doing it today, I'd be amazed. Go check out Tailed Features YouTube channel. If he's not doing it today, I think he does it every Wednesday. He's going to hate me if I've forgotten this. He's got a live stream series called Regional Variations, where he talks to, so Tailed Features Scottish, and he talks to on this show on a regular basis other guests from different parts of the UK. And they just discuss what's going on in the UK from different perspectives, from different people in different parts of the country. And within the last, 48 hours or whatever, the Prime Minister of Scotland, Nicola Sturgeon, is going to step down. She's going to retire, whatever is going on. So there's a lot of interesting things going on in Scotland within the last 24 hours, 48 hours. And I'm sure Tailed has a lot to say about it. So if he's not already streaming, and honestly, I can't tell looking at what windows I have open right now, go check out his channel if you're interested in that at all, or other perspectives from the UK, because Tail's my friend. He's another one of the old guard in the same vein as Irate Alex. And I appreciate him. He tried to teach me Scottish Gaelic at one point. I did my best. I'm a terrible student at languages, but I did my best. I've retained a phrase here or there. And I even attempted to use that same phrase, that good morning Fesker Ma comment to a fellow streamer on a show yesterday who was Scottish. And unfortunately, he didn't understand because he doesn't pay attention to, or not, I guess not pay attention to. It's just learning Scottish Gaelic isn't as prolific as maybe it should be in saving the language, because it's kind of dying over time. But Tailed Feature knows more about that than I do, so go check out his channel, and if you haven't already. Okay, I think I better wrap this up soon, because I don't have a whole heck of a lot else to say. I just did this on a lark because I've got half a day off, and I didn't have a whole lot else to do with my day. I really should. There's a couple of things I want to try doing in the future. I really, really, really want to get back into tabletop role playing. I haven't done any tabletop role playing in years now because my social group is kind of broken up over the pandemic and other elements of things I've talked about in the past. I just bought a whole bunch of books, core books and supplements for Warhammer 40,000 tabletop role playing, not the miniature stuff, like actual role playing. Sorry, hold on a second here. And I kind of want to try to figure out if I could run a game of that at some point. It's going to have to be online. I'm not sure if anybody be interested in trying it. It's still, even though I have some familiarity with the setting, I'm having to relearn it because I haven't paid attention to it in several years. Fortunately, the 40K universe stays relatively static and has stayed relatively static over the decades now, I guess decades. I paid attention to it in college, just kind of refamiliarizing myself with it in the last couple of months. That's something I'm curious about trying to do. I may or may not pursue that further. But if you join the Discord, again, for those of you coming in late, there's a Discord link, an experimental Scribelite channel Discord server that is the link is good for the next 12 hours or less now after this broadcast. So if you're interested in joining that, go drop a message on there. The password, on the off chance you think you might not be recognized simply by your nickname on Discord or otherwise, the password to be given access to the other channels on that server is Omega 12. So just pop in there, drop a message on there saying Omega 12, and I will do my best to manage and give everybody the access necessary to access the other channels. So there you go. I'm going to wrap this up here. Apologies for the rambling kind of all over the place stream. I was just bored and inebriated. And I still am. Yay, Pepperjack. Programming note, tomorrow, Thursday, at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, will be another episode of TED Excellence, continuing with Superpowers Month. This time, we're going to find out the superpowers of a con man. This might be a rarity for TEDx in that is an actually educational episode. It may not be some kind of woke struggle session with the speaker being on a stage sort of spewing out their personal psychological problems within the confines of the red circle carpet, but instead we might actually learn something useful. Maybe. I don't know. We'll find out together. TED Excellence tomorrow, Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and Sunday. Even though I'm going off and running on Saturday to visit my parents, I have every intention on Sunday, which is the 19th of February, to do the Sunday stream where I'll talk about a thing. I haven't decided what it'll be yet. Hopefully I'll figure that out either late Saturday or very early Sunday. And long-term, Saturday, March 11th, currently scheduled, will be the third installment of Living on Borrowed Crime with featured guests so far. Perhaps one more will be added. We'll see. Featured guests so far for Living on Borrowed Crime, Stay Awake and Dave's Lemonade. If you're not aware of Stay Awake True Crime, go check that out on YouTube. As well, if you're not aware of Dave's Lemonade, check out the most recent broadcast of Living on Borrowed Crime where I interviewed Dave's Lemonade about his content and his methods and so on. People seem to enjoy that. Anyway, everyone, thank you so much for joining me for this random, unplanned stream. I hope you found something worthwhile out of it. Let me know what you think in the comments about this or anything else. Again, Discord link is in the description. It's only good for 12 hours. This is a very private, very exclusive membership to my Discord server as an experiment. And just as a warning, I could rescind the whole thing tomorrow if I think it's going to be too much work, stress, drama, or otherwise. So don't get too attached, but you never know. might be the end all be all. Anyway, everyone, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you're all safe and well. Moderators, I'm getting ahead of myself. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things. Even though everyone here is so well behaved, you have very, very little to do. Everybody who donated, if I didn't express it enough at the beginning of the stream, I'll say it again. Thank you guys so much for your generosity. I don't know what to say about it other than I really, really do appreciate it. More than maybe you know. Everyone, again, I hope you're all safe and well. If you're not well, please get well soon, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.